describing about the certain concept about the child's familiar things, about the child likable things, we can progress on to different kinship terms. For example, Didi, Bhaiya, thank you, please, sorry, etc. And the social greetings, which is also very important. We can also develop the touch sense into the child by incorporating the activities into his daily routine. For example, if the child is entering into a kitchen and the mother is kneading a dough, so we can make the child engaged in that activity, like how the dough is kneaded and what is the texture of a dough. We add water, and the child can also made to touch the spoons, bowls, etc. In classroom, he is made to touch different beads, or he can touch different wooden objects or the things which is present in the environment, which is simultaneously strengthening the child's tactile sense. We can also organize a trip to a park, or we can organize a picnic and provide the child a basket so that the child can pluck the flowers in the grasses in order to develop his tactile sense. Further, we can also develop his tactile sense, or we can develop the concept of the 6-dot system, or the Braille 6-dot system, with the help of the tabletop activities. We can provide different pegboards, such as these pegboards can be provided, in which the child has to punch the lines, the small lines, the short lines, or the lines having vertical lines, horizontal lines, or marked by boundaries. We can provide different pegboards to the child in order to develop the concept of a 6-dot system. Since Braille was developed by Louis Braille, and there are 3 grades of the Braille. The grade 1, it represents that of an isolated or standing alone place values of different alphabets. Grade 2, it represents contractions and abbreviations, and the grade 3, it represents the shorthand Braille, which is a further more complex grade of a Braille. And the child usually starts with the grade 1, progress on to grade 2 and grade 3. And we also can provide different homemade materials from the houses. For example, these are the bindis, or these are the marbles which are present in the home, and we can use them also in order to teach a child about the concept of a 6-dot system, or the concept of the different place values of different alphabets. Plus, we can also provide different we can also provide a marble board like this. In this, we can provide him the dot system, like 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. Different combinations of dots can be made, either with the upper dots, which is 1, 2, 4, 5, or the lower dots, which is 2, 3, 5, 6. Or we can also teach the child the missing dots, and it is very important to follow these patterns into a child, which can be simultaneously progressed onto this pegboard also. For example, we can teach a missing dot, like the child can feel that dot number 1, 2 and 3 is also present. 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5, 4 and 6 is present, but 5 is missing. So missing dots can also be identified by the child. Plus, we can further move on to the upper dot system, which is 1, 2, 4 and 5. The child can identify, okay, these are the upper dots, which is 1, 2, 4 and 5. And the next, the child can progress on to the lower dot, which is 2, 3, 5 and 6. After that, it is also very important to teach the mirror images of the place values of alphabets. For example, the J is described by 2, 4 and 5, and D is described by 1, 4 and 5. These are the mirror images of one another, and the child should also be taught about these mirror images. So these patterns should be followed into the child, like first we progress from missing dots, then to the upper dot system, which is 1, 2, 4 and 5, and next lower dot system, which is 2, 3, 5 and 6, and then next to the mirror images. Simultaneously, with these all dot system, we also have to strengthen the texture concept into the child, for which we can provide different texture books. Like in case of these, the child can experience this stuff so that he can able to he's able to correlate with that of a shawl or that of a sweater. And next we can move on to this thing, which is a wooden object, and the child can correlate it with the wooden things present into his classroom or present into his environment, such as wooden chairs, tables, etc. Next he can move on to this kind of material and can correlate it with that of a raincoat or the stuff of a bag, etc. And simultaneously the materials like that of a sponge. So textures concept also has to be developed, but we have to note one point here, that we should not provide the harsh tactile receptors to the child, otherwise it will damage their tactile receptors and they will have problem in reading and writing Braille further. Simultaneously, we can also develop the concept of numbers. For example, we can use a number book like this. For example, here it is also provided with the color contrast, which also helps a low vision child to read and perceive a shape of a number. And also for a visually impaired child, he can also perceive the shape of a number, like the 3 is representing like this. Plus it has different shapes also. For example, like that of a star or that of a square or that of a circle. These can also be provided to the child. Initially the child will face problem in developing the concept of the shape and the perceivation of the numbers, but later on, as the child achieves mastery over this, it is very easy for the child to identify the shapes and identify the different textures. Also, we taught about different braille books which can be made by the teacher into the school or by the mother into the home, and these braille books can be provided, and we can teach the child like about the top of a book, the bottom of a book. It has pins also, the front of the book, back of the book. The front of the book can be made recognized by the child by providing a tactile marker onto the front page. With this helps the child in easily recognizing what is the front of a page. Simultaneously, we can also develop the number concept into the child by making the child to count the pages into the book. The child can also feel the texture which is present into the book, whether it is soft or whether it is rough, etc. He can also identify whether the book is being light or book is being heavy. So these are the things which we can provide into the child. Next, we move on to the, after you have make sure that the child has developed all these tactile senses or all these concepts of 6 braille dot system. Next, we also move on to the braille slate. This is a standard braille slate, and it consists of a, this is a braille slate and it's a stylus. And this is a braille paper which consists of 2 surfaces. One is soft and one is rough. And we teach the child to insert the paper from the rough side, so that when he just reverse the paper, he will be able to write, or he will be able to read from to the soft side, which is helpful for his tactile receptors in order to perceive the braille dots. And the braille paper is inserted like this. The braille paper is inserted like this, and the child is taught to lock this braille paper. While locking this braille paper, there will be a sound produced, and the child is aware, okay, the braille paper is being locked and the paper will not move out. And the correct method of holding the stylus is like this. It should be held like this. There should not be any deviations. If deviations present, then they have to be, yeah, like this. Okay. It should be holded like this, and there are many deviations which is present into a visually impaired child. These deviations have to be corrected, otherwise the braille dots will be punched wrongly. And your forearm should lie straight onto the braille slate, and the stylus should be holded like this, and braille dot should be punched. Plus, it is very important for a teacher to make the remind the child about his posture while writing or punching the braille dots onto the braille paper. His head should be straight and his back also should be straight. There should not be any lanky posture. So the posture is also very important factor while writing while punching dots onto the braille paper. Plus, if we progress on to reading the braille, then reading the braille dots, then both of your hands should be used. Your fingers and hands should be used. For example, your left hand is here and your right hand is here. Your left hand should follow your right hand, and your right hand should move like this. And after a line is ended, your left hand again move to the starting of the first line, and then move down to the starting of the second line, so that it gives an indication to the right hand, or it provides a movement direction to a right hand that okay, I have to move on to the second line, which is the starting of second line, like this. And while reading the questions or while answering the questions into the braille, the child, we have to teach the child, okay, first you have to identify what is the length of the sentence, or what is the length of a question. It is being ended by a question mark, and then below this you have to write your answer. Plus, we have to progress from sentence to words to letters. For example, we are giving a child a word Kamal. It's not necessary that we have to teach a child the whole word Kamal. We have to part it into sentences. We have to isolate the words. For example, first we teach the child about Ka, then about Ma, and then about La. Or we can also make the child to learn about this is Kamal, and if we remove the La from the Kamal, it becomes Kam. So it is very important to teach a child about all these concepts before moving on to the braille slate. Plus, the brailler can also be used for the child if he is not comfortable in using a braille slate. So this is all for the today's session. But before that, I would like to thank my viewers, and I would like to thank Richa ma'am for coming over here and giving us your precious time. Thank you so much.